It is Tuesday, July 22nd, and we are going to take you through this hour-ish at the speed of sound here. No TJ today, just me and Vegas Mac holding it down. We've got a sky full of stars available at the trade deadline, and all these presidents of baseball operation and general managers are looking at their teams right now and going, how can we fix you? If you get it, you get it. If you don't, I cannot help you. Welcome to another edition of the Mike Arana Show. Vegas Mac, what is going on, my friend?
Oh man, we got a little bit of rain falling outside. It's a beautiful summer day with a little bit of rain, and had a interesting weekend with golf and whatnot. It's going to bring up some interesting conversations, I think, for us over the next couple of days. And I'm just waiting for everything to break in baseball. I'm waiting for that first trade very anxiously.
Yeah, don't panic. There'll be plenty of sparks going around at the Major League Baseball trade deadline. I don't know if I can get another one of their references in here, but as Mac said, plenty of stuff. A wild weekend. It started for us on Friday where Vegas Mac took the cone of shame from me in dollar dingers on Friday. Brian Reynolds, as TJ mentioned, couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. Byron Buxton is on fire right now, and as TJ has told us several times, the Joe Show on Friday nights is must-see TV. I mean, that dude, it's like he wakes up and it's Friday and it's time to hit another bomb. And he does it every Friday pretty much like clockwork. Now, of course, because we said that this Friday he won't hit a home run. So that's just how it works. But a lot of stuff and a lot of interesting conversations came from across the pond. And I think we're going to have an interesting discussion on this. You know, and I think the thing that gets lost with Scotty winning the Open Championship at Royal Portrush in Ireland is, and you alluded to this in your recap video on Sunday night, there was a lot of guys that played really, really good golf. And if you would have taken Scotty out, and how many times did we, and again, here's where the comparisons start. How many times did we look at tournaments that Tiger dominated and go, man, if you take Tiger out of this tournament, this was like really, really competitive. And I like to see those guys go after each other and battle to get into those second and third place positions, because that leads to exemptions. That leads to obviously higher paychecks and everything, Mac. But again, it was a Scotty Scheffler party, and it kind of felt like that tournament was over on Friday.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things that you said, and you were right on. Like, once Scotty kind of separated himself from the field just a little bit, you just knew that there was no way he was going to go back that much. And you just kind of look at it and you go, we were talking, before the final round on Sunday. I'm like, even if Scotty shoots even par, someone's going to have a really, really good day just to even try to catch him. And so, the key thing, and again, you mentioned it, it's not the birdies and the eagles. It's those 10-foot saves for par. It's, not making a double. He just, he hits the right part of the fairway. He doesn't go at pins that other people do. And, again, I compared him to a couple of other golfers that kind of take risk. And that's why they won some tournaments, but didn't win some tournaments. And Scotty doesn't do that. He takes the big number out of every hole, and that's why he's successful.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've alluded to this a couple of times, and I found this and thought of you right away when I saw it. This is from Jonathan Wall on X. And I'm just going to read it kind of verbatim here at the start, but you've talked about how meticulous, as I spit all over my laptop, it must be the first show of the week, how meticulous Scotty is and how he does everything routine. And since he switched coaches and his putting has been out of this world. But Jonathan Wall shared this story on X. A fresh set of grips on the tour level is a common sight. Most pros change the grips every 6 weeks to 2 months, except for Scotty. Scotty believes in using a grip until the entire club needs to be replaced. In his eyes, it's one cohesive unit. not multiple parts. And he goes on to kind of give some more detail about it. But like the driver that he played with at the PGA, that grip was absolutely worn down. His hands melt into that club like a glove. And that just shows, like, you know, and obviously these guys on the tour, their equipment trucks are out there. You need a new pair of shoes, need a new pair of spikes, you need a new this, new that. If you're Sergio Garcia, you needed a new driver on hole number 2 on Sunday, you know. And it was really interesting to see. Here's a guy that has the best of the best equipment ready for him at the drop of anything. I mean, with his relationship with his sponsors and the success that he's had, he could go and go, no, I need one of these now. And that's just not who Scotty Scheffler is. And I think, and we kind of talked about it a little bit, and TJ is under this assumption, and T will be back with us tomorrow, but T is under this assumption that he thinks, based on what Scotty said last week, that he's going to retire at about 33. So my question then at that point would be, does he do the Grand Slam twice at that rate? Because yes, that would be very, very, very hard to do, but I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility. But I thought that was a very interesting tell into who Scotty is and how he goes about everything. And I have never broken a driver. I have thrown my 7-iron off the sign in Vegas at one of my favorite courses, and that was my I used to never be able to hit a driver, but that's enough out of you, Mama Mac, already. But I think like that to me, and you've alluded to his preparation and how he goes about everything so many times. And when I saw that story, again, Jonathan Wall on X, I mean, it's telling to who Scotty is and how he approaches the game.
Yeah, you know, I always say like I use a baseball player as an example. Guys that have that bat, I mean, they like to keep that gamer. Same with their glove. I mean, baseball players are just known for routine. Wade Boggs is an example. You know, they just
absolutely.
Yeah, and golfers I think are more tweakers. You know, they try a new iron, try this. Let's another degree loft here. You know, a little bit here, and I you know, it's one of those things. You know, when you guys like us that play golf, you know, one of the things that always rings true is like, you know, you hear instructors say, you know, yeah, you can watch all these videos on YouTube and whatnot, but like we change all the time. You know, the first 5 holes, we our swing is like this and it's good, and then something happens and, you know, oh well, we'll change our grip or we'll change our stance. And Scotty doesn't do that. You know, Scotty's the same. It doesn't matter. Up 5, down 5, which he probably, you know, isn't really, but I mean, he's just true to who he is. And you know, physical side apart, it's kind of funny because I heard a couple of people joke about how, you know, when he first started out, like he wasn't that good of a golfer. I mean, he was good, but he wasn't winning. And he's just now over the last couple of years found that success. And you can just see it. He's just got the demeanor of a true champion, and he's fun to watch from that aspect of it. I mean, it's one of those. It's hard not to like him because you just know he stays within himself, which is very hard to do, winning or losing. I mean, you can say, yeah, you know, he had a 5, 6, 7, 8-stroke lead, but you know, sometimes that's hard to play with. You know, it's hard to sometimes have an 8-stroke lead because you mentally say, you know, you put it on cruise control, and Scotty doesn't do that. He's, like you said, every shot is important to him, and again, fun to watch. He's a true champion.
Yeah, and you know, we're going to get to the conversation that everybody's having right now about Scotty, but Jamie Kennedy on X, one of the best golf follows out there. Final leaderboard of players who played all 16 rounds in the majors in 2025. Scotty Scheffler, minus 32, won 2 of them. The second place guy, playing all 16 rounds, made the cut at all the majors, also won one, and that was Rory McIlroy. He was minus 11. Xander, minus 10. Rahm, 6. English, 5. Harris English has had a fantastic year. Matt Fitzpatrick, minus 1. Tyrrell Hatton, minus 1. JJ Spawn, plus 1. Obviously, JJ won the other major with that bomb at the US Open on the green. And you know, you were, and maybe you weren't being facetious, I think you were, but like, you know, our group chat was probably the most quiet it's ever been this weekend because I was on an overnight shift all weekend and I did not miss sans a cat nap or two, a single shot that was hit in this tournament. And, you know, I think it was Saturday. And before I get to that, true story here. And from a betting angle, we talk about it all the time. You look at, you know, a lot of the time, if you were to bet $100 on Scotty Scheffler, most tournaments you're not winning anything, or you're winning next to nothing because he's such an odds-on favorite all the time. I was sitting there, you know, and I did our recap video after round one that aired for us on Thursday night going into round two. And I thought about it. I'm like, the dude hit 3 fairways. He's 1 shot back. Really looked like he was rolling the ball well. And if you only hit 3 fairways and you're 1 shot off the lead, you're doing a lot of other things right. I don't remember the exact number, but I want to say he was right around plus 500, which for Scotty is ridiculous to see him at those kind of odds whatsoever. Pamela Maldonado, who does a great job from the golf betting aspect, she does a lot of stuff for ESPN Bet. She dropped this stat, I think it was around US Open time, that Scotty has the best second round scoring average on the tour. And I looked at it and I was going to, you know, I wasn't going to throw anything big on it, like $40, but I'm like, if I can get $200 out of Scotty and he has the outright lead after round two, I mean, you don't get those opportunities very frequently. And, you know, I posted it on our social pages right now for him to complete the slam. And we're going to talk about these majors in a second here at Shinnecock next year, to complete the Scotty slam, the Scheffler slam. Yes, we said it before anybody else did. So when it comes to that time next year, give us credit. He's like plus 390 on DraftKings and plus 310 on FanDuel. I mean, that's probably the best price you're going to get him at almost 4-1. And you have to do it now 340 days ahead of time. But the conversations come up, and you said this, and whether it might have been facetious, it might not have. The Scotty versus Tiger comparisons. Very interesting because he knew they were coming. He knew he was going to get asked about them, and Scotty laughed him off. And he goes, listen, like, I'm nowhere in that ballpark. Tiger Woods is the greatest golfer to ever play the game. So Rick Gehman of CBS put out the top 50 seasons in the Tiger era. Well, you've got 2000, 2006, 2007, 1999, 2009, 2002, 2003 Tiger Woods. Then you've got 2025 Scotty Scheffler, 2024 Scotty Scheffler. So the conversation obviously is going to be had because he's the closest thing to Tiger Woods that we've seen. I'm not willing, ready, or able to say he is Tiger Woods for 2 reasons. One, I think when we compare eras, and we've talked about this a lot, when you compare eras, it's not fair to compare eras. The guys now, the equipment now, the talent pool now is way better than it was when Tiger was playing. Also, Scotty is now 10 for 10 in converting 54-hole outright leads. He's got 27 more to go just to equal what Tiger did. You remember who stopped that one? Why, yes. One of the best Jim Nantz calls ever. I'm not willing to go down that road yet because he's got a long way to go. I'm also trying to enjoy what the hell we're seeing right now, the dominance that Scotty brings to the table.
Yeah, I think the comparison is it's Tiger-like. I think that's kind of what you can say. It's a dominance that we've only seen from a few golfers. I mean, Tiger and Jack kind of had it as well. You kind of go back, you know, that's what we're seeing. He's not, I mean, he's not at the level of Tiger Woods yet. You know, like you said, he still has the way to go, but in a segment size, you know, a slice of the pie, if you will. I mean, it's very dominant Tiger-like. I mean, you know, Tiger used to go and not only win these majors, he used to win them a lot of times by, like we saw, very big margins, 8, 10, 12, 14 strokes. I mean, it was Tiger after the second round and it was done, and you knew you were playing for second place. There's a lot of similarities, I think, between that, between him and Tiger. So is he there yet? No, can you take a segment and say this segment of his career is Tiger-like? I think you can, and I think the numbers show that it's a very Tiger-like segment. Now he's got to do that for multiple segments in order to even start to compare, the Tiger or the Jack talk with it. But for this segment of time, and this segment's really short. It's only a couple of years. You have to remember, just a couple of years ago, Scotty Scheffler had wins on the PGA Tour. This has come in a real, I mean, it's a small slice of pie, really.
Yeah, absolutely. Coming up just past the top of the hour, we're going to get into a little baseball. I'm going to take Mac on a wild ride with my do or die game today, and then we'll get into the trade deadline and stuff just a little bit more here on the Scheffler Tiger situation. Feel free to comment along. I mean, where are you at in this conversation, Scheffler versus Tiger? Again, baseball coming up just past the top of the hour here, but Gaiman went on to do another comparison here. The best 29-year-old seasons in the Tiger era. Okay. So for those of you not familiar with the Tiger era, we're talking basically 1997 on. 29-year-old Scotty Scheffler, which is right now, the best season. And what this does is it counts starts, rounds, average position, how many wins. 2004 Tiger Woods at 29, 22 starts, 75 rounds, average finishing position 9.2. He only won twice that year. Scotty's already got 4, and it's interesting to look at this list of the 29-year-olds, Mac, because this will bring back some memories here when we're comparing, again, I don't like to do it, but I think people need to understand this in the scheme and the rocket ship that is attached to Scotty's back. 2022, Justin Thomas. 2022, Xander Schauffele. Man, those two that year had incredible years. Cam Smith, 2022, really good. 2023, John Rahm. 2000, David Duval actually had the 3rd best season as a 29-year-old in the Tiger era. Jason Day in 2016, Ricky Fowler in 17, and John Rahm in 2023. So I'm not willing to go down that road yet, and I think you nailed it right there. Tiger-like is the way to put it. And I do like this crop of golfers that we have because, yes, not many guys have been able to run him down. And all the talk for the next calendar year in golf is going to be, does he complete the Scheffler Slam at Shinnecock? And man, if you could be on Long Island in June and you get a chance to go to one of the most amazing golf courses in the country, and you get to see Scotty Scheffler win the Slam. I mean, that's like summer vacation, vibes right there. But, it's something that's going to continue to be talked about. And I think it has to, but I think we need to, and I think we're in a generation gap here too. There's a lot of people that saw Tiger in his last 4 or 5 years of playing regularly that didn't get to really, really watch him in his prime. I mean, the reason that golf is so mainstream and talked about so much is because of Tiger Woods. And I think that's where this kind of slant to the conversation comes from, Mac, is I don't think we saw a lot of people. There wasn't a lot of people that saw Tiger in his absolute prime. And yes, Scotty Scheffler is the closest thing we've absolutely seen to that.
And I think a couple of things have to happen. I mean, when we look at Tiger, Tiger did it by, I want to say it kind of was kind of by intimidation. Tiger kind of walked on the course and you knew that if I'm playing with Tiger today, you knew, number one, the galleries were going to be absolutely outrageous. And he had that kind of aura about him. I mean, it was Tiger Woods. I'm going to be behind him all day. He's going to outdrive me. I think, that was part of who Tiger Woods was. And the other thing that I think we need in this is we need that other guy. Who's that other? And you just mentioned it. Who's the other guy going to be? I mean, we can joke about Phil all we want, but Phil did push Tiger a lot in a lot of different ways. Who's going to push Scotty right now? I mean, does Rory push him? I don't know. I mean, and it's not like a good cop, bad cop kind of thing, but we need a push. We need someone to push him. And it can't be this guy this week and this. It's got to be somebody that can consistently do it. I think that'll help as well. But, for right now, I mean, it's Scotty, and there's there's a little gap there. I mean, let's be honest, there's a little gap.
I think naturally off the top of your head, like most people would say, we're still waiting for Ludwig Oberg to make that big jump, and he hasn't been able to do it. I need to not read the comments when I'm in mid thought sometimes. You know who you are out there. I'm just going to show it so I can get back on track here. Little double entendre there. Yeah. I think, for me, like I watch a guy like Jake Knapp. Jake Knapp seems to always play really well on the biggest stages, but he hasn't been able to put it consistently together week in and week out. So I think Ludwig Oberg is probably the guy that jumps off the page to a lot of people, maybe a guy that can give him a run consistently. Victor Hovland's another guy we've talked about a lot. Can he get it together consistently to push him? So I think there's guys there, and there's a really good crop of young golfers right now. I just don't know if there's enough of them, and who's gonna step up to the plate, if you will, to get that done. And that's kind of the interesting thing. Vegas Mac pulling his best John Cena right now. You can't see him, but plenty of time to talk about this as we get a little bit closer to the FedEx playoffs. Again, feel free to comment along. Way to go, you got Roz. Way to go. When we look ahead to next year's schedule of the major tournaments, obviously we get going in April at Augusta right after the Final Four. The PGA Championship next year will be at Arana in Pennsylvania. And then we've alluded to it already, the U.S. Open at Shinnecock in June 18th to the 21st. And then the Open Championship will return to Royal Birkdale in England, July 16th to 19th. We've got the Ryder Cup coming up. I know there's a lot of momentum for the Ryder Cup. I'm excited. I mean, I think the scene there is going to be ridiculous at Bethpage. The Keegan Bradley situation, are there going to be additions to the captain's rules if he is in a session? A lot of stuff to talk about there. And then obviously the FedEx Cup playoffs this year and with a new format. And I think that's exciting because I think you're going to see a lot of guys try and obviously play their best during the playoffs. But with the new format this year going into it, I think we could maybe get a little precursor to who that guy that can step up to the plate against Scotty is. So I'm excited for next year's crop of majors. Arana makes an interesting course. Obviously, Shinnecock, Royal Birkdale, fun track. I don't know what it is, Mac, but maybe it's just because I can get up at like 10:30 at night and then 2:30 in the morning on the West Coast for this tournament and watch every minute of it. And by the time it's done, it's like 11 o'clock. I haven't recovered my sleep schedule yet, but I love watching the Open Championship. I love the twists and turns of it. My guy Shane Lowry on Sunday was fantastic, and like he's walking around Sunday going, "Where the hell was this for the last couple of days?" I mean, Lowry's another one of those guys that has shown that he can put up the big number when he's in those big time situations. Who that guy consistently is going to be, I don't know. Final thoughts from you as we wrap our PGA Tour discussion for today.
Yeah, like you said, I mean, there's guys that kind of, I know one guy that you kind of low key like is Sepp Straka. He's another one that is there, but I just don't see it on a consistent basis. So it'll be interesting to see. I mean, somebody always pops up. There's always somebody. I think Oberg, like you said, could be that guy. He just got to get over the hump a little bit. As far as the FedEx playoffs, yeah, I mean, it's a new format, so it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out. The Ryder Cup, there's a lot of interesting things to think about. I mean, I looked at the team, but my biggest thing is, and it's kind of funny, but I was looking at it. Is the United States Ryder Cup team going to be Scotty's team or Bryson's team? And I don't mean in a way, but like Bryson has such a I want to say a leadership quality. Like you want to follow him. I mean, let's be honest. Let's talk about it for a second. Bryson was kind of a tool, right? We all agree. I mean, He was kind of a tool. And he rubbed people the wrong way. Whoever got in his head and talked to him, and if you're a golf fan, live or no live, you have to tell me you have to enjoy. There's no doubt about it. I mean, he's a lot of fun to watch from a social media standpoint, and it's going to be interesting to see how he interacts on that Team USA. Does he kind of become the leader? Because not that Scotty's not the leader, he's without a doubt the best player, but your best player doesn't necessarily need to be your leader. But I'm kind of interested to see how that dynamic's going to work out.
Yeah, absolutely. And the scene in New York at Bethpage for the Ryder Cup is going to be something that you do not want to miss. It is like taking the Waste Management Open and putting it in an actual like formatted segment. I think it's going to be incredible. Right. It's going to be wild. I can't wait. Another highlight of a big time sporting event during football season, which just adds to the excitement. All right, Mac, it is time on Tuesday. We play high or buy. So nice. We're going to play a little high or buy today. And to finish up on the golf conversation, high or buy, Scheffler needs one Shinnecock to finish the Scheffler Slam, and he does it next June.
I say high, only because, oh no, there I am. I think there's going to be a lot of pressure on him. I think it's going to take him a couple of times to get it. And the U.S. Open is a tough one to win, especially when you know that you kind of need it or want it. I'm going to say buy on that one or high on that one.
The Shinnecock, bros. Shinnecock. All right. Let's transition to the baseball side of high or buy. High or buy, Gino Suarez is a New York Yankee by Sunday night. I know all the Diamondbacks fans don't want to hear it, but I hate to be the bringer of reality to you.
I'm going to say high. I think the Diamondbacks end up not trading him. I just got a feeling. I mean, I know the Yankees want him. It's perfect. We talked about the D-backs have to do it. I got a feeling it's not going to happen. I think they'll move other parts, but I think he's going to stay.
Yeah, and the word on the street, for those of you that haven't seen it yet, is there is a proposed trade on the table that would send both Gino Suarez and Merrill Kelly to the Yankees for a package of prospects, mainly Cam Schlitter, who is the Yankees' number 2 prospect, if I remember right off the top of my head. It is not including some of the key Yankee prospects. Again, it's a rumor. It's on the table. I think a lot of people are going to be interested in Gino Suarez, and we're going to talk about some of those teams here in a minute. All right, last one for you today, Mac. High or buy? We're going to dip our toes into the NFL water. AFC West. The Kansas City Chiefs win the division, or the field wins the division. This is an either or.
Kansas City Chiefs is still really good. I'm going to take the Chiefs on that one. It may be a little tighter than the last couple of years, but I still think Kansas City's got enough. That their last game that they played, if I remember correctly, didn't go quite in their favor. That tends to leave a bad taste in your mouth, and that team is going to want to have another shot at it.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting. And again, for those of you that were watching last week, we have a big announcement for you on tomorrow's show. A lot of exciting stuff coming up for football season. Can't wait to bring it to you guys tomorrow. I think you guys are going to be excited about it. Those that have followed us from the start have been on this journey with us, and we appreciate you. Follow us on all of our social channels at Mike Arana Show, everywhere but Snapchat, because we're not 12. Geez, Tony's not here, and I have to say it. I'm getting choked up. We're not 12, and Snapchat sucks. All right, on the diamond last night, some interesting stuff, and we'll get started in Cleveland as the Guardians knock off the Baltimore Orioles, who continue to suck this season. 10-5 last night. Jose Ramirez, a 3-run homer. He's heating up. Tanner Bybee was fantastic last night. 6 hits, 3 earned, 4 Ks. Bybee is a very underrated pitcher, man. He doesn't wow you. He doesn't overpower you with his stuff, but he knows how to pitch to outs. And I think that's a very underrated quality of a lot of pitchers. Home runs also from Naylor and Manzardo last night for Cleveland, and Cleveland's starting to wake up a little bit here, Mac. They're 49-50 now, and I know that sounds like it's, who cares, but this is a team that just came off of a 10-game losing streak, and they're starting to warm up.
Yeah, and it's so funny. I mean, Jose Ramirez, is he the most underrated superstar in baseball? I mean, really? I mean, this guy, like, just every year just puts up incredible numbers. He's a really good defender. He steals bases for you. I mean, I know the Guardians aren't going to move him, but I mean, I don't think he gets the respect in baseball that he deserves. He's a top 10 player in baseball.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think part of it, and this isn't a knock on Cleveland, I think part of it is because he plays in Cleveland, and Cleveland's not, and they don't have a team that'll wow you. I mean, but one of my favorite players to watch in baseball, we talked about this last week. Obviously I said Bobby Witt and Bryce Harper because that's a no-brainer for me. They're the guys that started our Mike's Man Crush thing, which will be coming back here during football season. But, Stephen Kwan's another guy I love watching play. The dude just does a little bit of everything. Yeah. Very underrated player. But I think, it's got a lot to do with the fact that he plays in Cleveland. The Pirates scored runs for Paul Skeens last night as he locked up the Detroit Tigers, which right now everybody's locking up that Tigers offense. They are struggling out of the gate. 3-0. Yep. The Pirates take down the Tigers last night. Skeens goes 6, gives up 3 hits, no earned, 6 strikeouts, and a walk. Jack Flaherty takes the loss for the Tigers. And Mac, I've talked about this with you. We've talked about it on the show. My concern with this Tigers team is the rest of their pitching staff outside of Tarek Skubal. I'm very interested to see how they approach this deadline, because I don't know if the pitching as a whole is enough to get the Tigers where everybody thinks the Tigers are going to go.
Yeah, but I mean, I'll look at it this way. I mean, he gave up 3 runs. I mean, with the offense that the Tigers normally put up, I mean, 3 runs, you figure that's a win, really. I mean, they were going up against Skeens, so we know that. I mean, you've seen quite a few of the better teams, record-wise, kind of struggle coming out of the break, and I think that's understandable that you've had a good run. You get a couple of days off. You kind of relax a little bit. And it takes a while to kind of get back into, what's going on. I mean, the Astros are struggling as well coming out of the break. So you've seen a lot of teams offensively just kind of taking a step back. I'm not worried about the Tigers right now, because what's going to happen in the next week is everyone's going to get that jolt. And that jolt's going to be a trade, and you hear it every year. It invigorizes the clubhouse. It gets them going, and it's what they need. So teams are going to have those dips, and I think after that All-Star break is a time where you see it, and they'll pick it back up. But you got to. I mean, Skeens has got to be thinking, "Gosh, 3 runs. I hope they do something for me next time out."
Yeah, absolutely. And it's always, we talk about it all the time. The break is always interesting because some teams it comes at the worst time, and other teams it comes at the best time. San Diego, they take down Miami last night 2-1. Maldonado and Merrill do enough of the damage for the Friars as they get a win over the Marlins, who have been playing better. Kyle Stowers hits another home run last night. Not enough for the Fish. Padres only managed 5 hits total in the game, but they got enough. They got enough out of Randy Vasquez. Morejon takes the win. Jason Adam, Robert Suarez gets a save. This Padres team is another team that we've been talking about. Like, what happens at the deadline? What is their direction? You've got contract situations with Dylan Cease. You've got contract situations with Michael King. They're the ownership tussle right now, and all of that stuff that's going on. The Padres are a very interesting team because they can be very dangerous, or they can be looking ahead to next season.
I'm sick of the Padres for a couple of reasons. The first is every single day I go through and I look at my team's notes and stuff like that. And every day I look at the Red Sox, and every day I have to see the Padres are looking at Jarren Duran. It's now a stalker situation. Stop looking at Jarren Duran, San Diego. If you're gonna do it, make a true offer. Give us a. I mean, I don't want it to happen. I think honestly it would be the worst thing. That's another story. But I'm just saying, make a real offer. Stop stalking the guy. I I can't. I wonder if San Diego. There's a team in the American League that I think is going to make the playoffs, and we'll get to them in a little bit. That's not in the playoffs right now. I know they're going to make it. I can't fully trust the Padres. I can't. And we said it at the beginning of the year. Go back, to the preview show. Like, I can't trust them. I just offensively I don't feel as though they score enough. Pitching, yeah. I Padres. I lump them. It's you said it. The Padres, the Diamondbacks. To me, the Twins, the Guardians. You throw them in that lump. I don't of untrustable teams.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's definitely something to be said about that. And the more frustrating thing about the Padres is we've seen when they're on what they can do. And as we sit right now, the Padres still do hold that last wild card spot now, 3.5 games ahead of the Reds, who have moved into that final position. But yeah, I mean, here's a perfect. I mean, there's the Padres stuck in the middle like they always are. I mean, it's got to be maddening. You're right. I think if you're a Padres fan.
And and I get like Jarren Duran. I mean, I watch him all the time. I like him. An average outfielder. He brings an aggressiveness to a team, which maybe that's why they like him so much, because the Padres kind of don't have that like aggressiveness and that Duran plays with, that kind of edge that he plays with. But I just keep thinking, like, if they're really truly looking at him, like, it's going to cost them, I think, another major league player. And I don't think Duran and getting rid of another major league player makes the Padres better. So I'm real confused about the whole thing.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I think any Red Sox fan would take Dylan Cease if it meant you were getting rid of Jarren Duran. I think anybody would take that up. But I mean, Duran doesn't really fit the Padres motif though, because he's not a converted shortstop. I mean, that's the entire Padres defense is converted shortstops that they've moved everywhere. Right. Let's talk about Jarren Duran's team and the Red Sox. They dropped one last night, 3-2 in 10 innings to the Phillies in a wild game. And I asked the former catcher at the college level that I'm staring at right now, was it or was it not catcher's interference that gave the Phillies the walk-off win?
By definition, it was. They made contact with the catcher's mitt. It wasn't a swing. That was the only thing I was, wondering about. But I mean, he definitely made contact with the mitt. So, catcher's interferences are up like a tremendous amount. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but they're up this year, and it's all because of the new way that catchers are taught to frame the ball. And so, it's a silly way to end the game, but there's more to it than that. I mean, the Red Sox had ample opportunities to score runs in that game against Wheeler, and they couldn't get a hit. I mean, the Red Sox offense is still stuck in the All-Star break. They haven't, the one game against Chicago, they scored runs. Other than that, they have not. They've gotten hits. They've gotten hits. They just aren't getting the big hits, and that's been the difference. So yeah, to answer your question, I mean, by definition, it was. It's like the balk call. It's a really weird. It's one of those weird things, like sometimes a balk is a balk, and like I always joke, if a pitcher drops the ball, it's a balk. But I mean, really, come on, like, you hate to lose a game like that too. But they put themselves in that position. we know the Red Sox record in one-run games is terrible. Alex Cora has the theory that when you're the away team, you have to score 2 runs, and that's how he plays it. And Alex, it's not working. Just letting you know.
It's not working. The Red Sox still do hold that last wild card spot by a game and a half right now. Cincinnati and Washington, Kyle Finnegan made it a little interesting in the 9th inning, but the Nats get a 10-8 win over the Reds, who are charging for that last wild card spot in the National League. Josh Bell with a homer, Dalen Lyle with a 3-run triple, and the Nats get the win 10-8. I'm very, very interested, especially after Emilio Pagan's comments when they took the second game of the series against the Mets, what the Reds do. And their front office has come out and said, we're not going to mortgage our future for right now, which is a common thing that we hear as we sit 9 days away from the trade deadline. But I really, really am interested to see how this dynamic shakes out in Cincinnati. You brought in Tito Francona. Great interaction during a pitching change last night. Ellie Dela Cruz made him give him his glasses, and they were laughing and joking about this. Reds team is playing loose. They're playing relaxed. Obviously they take the loss last night, but I think this Reds team is low-key kind of very, very dangerous here, because they could add a piece or two, and it might not be the biggest name out there, but it could be just enough for them. This team is well-balanced on offense. We've talked about Andrew Abbott on the bump this year for them has been fantastic. A guy in a short series you don't want to face, and I think this Reds team in a short series is not a team that you want to face. Now, I know you and TJ have kind of both been opposite of my thoughts on them, especially as of late. This team's playing really good baseball right now.
They are. And I mean, they put themselves in a position where they're in the conversation. I think, personally, this Reds team is good. I think they're 1 year away. I think they're 1 year away. I think next year, let's have this conversation again. I don't. Could they make the playoffs? Yeah, they could. But I look at the teams, in the wild card right now. I mean, are they better than the Cubs? Are they better than the Mets? Are they better than the Padres? I mean, I don't know. I just think they're 1 year away from that. I hate to see them trade a piece for maybe getting into the playoffs. I don't think they're a contender. They could, like I said, they could be a playoff team, but I wouldn't put them in the case of like they could win the World Series this year.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. And going around baseball last night, feel free to drop your comments in. If you're watching along, we appreciate you. It's a good time. It's a great time in baseball. And last night, the Toronto Blue Jays keep their pace as the annoying little yapping chihuahua on the heels of the Detroit Tigers last night. This Toronto team, when they play the Yankees, they play with an intensity that is Game 7 of the World Series. It leaves a lot of Yankee fans going, why the hell don't we play with this kind of intensity when we play them? Toronto gets another win, 7-3 in their last 10 games, 4-1 last night over the Spanks. And the Yankees were having a contest that they didn't know they were having last night with the Giants, is who could look like a bigger clown show defensively. Yet again, the Yankees on defense, it was funny. One of my great friends, huge Yankee fan, sends me a text last night, and it auto-corrected Volpe into volleyball. And he was talking about how the left side of their defense looks like trash. And I go, honestly, Volpe looks like he's playing volleyball out there on defense half the time. This Blue Jays team, man, the more and more I watch them, I just wish I didn't have to watch them with Buck Martinez on the call, but that's a different story for a different day. The more and more I watch them, the more and more they're giving me some early 90s vibes in Toronto, man. They are playing great right now. The best home record in the American League.
And I told you a couple of weeks ago when I was watching them, it's a different feel around when you watch the Blue Jays. Again, just their engagement, and it starts for me with one guy, and that's Vlad Jr. Yeah, I watched him the other day. He went over. There was a foul ball. He went over, and it was. He went right into the netting that was there and made a catch. Vlad Guerrero just showing some leather, and it's not something that you saw in the past. whether it's the contract or whatnot, but they look like they're having fun. George Springer is having a great season there, and it's TJ kind of joked, looked like his chemistry teacher was playing, and like
David Schneider.
yeah, they don't look like baseball players. I mean, it's kind of funny, but they just their top five in their lineup is, I think they're all hitting 270, 280. I mean, it's a fun team to watch. I've been on the Blue Jays the last couple of years. You know that. I thought their pitching is there. Be interesting to see what they do at the deadline. And I'm going to say this next part, and I'm being honest. I'm not. It's not a Red Sox thing, okay?
No, sure.
I'm being honest. The Yankees aren't good. They're not a good baseball team. They're not. I mean, I didn't pick them to make the playoffs. I said it the other day. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. I don't think the Yankees are a good team. They fundamentally they make a lot of mistakes. They're offensively they're not. There's not a lot there. What's scare besides Aaron Judge? What scares you on that offense? Don't tell me Stanton, because no. Don't tell me Volpe. No, they're a good team. They're not a playoff team. And again, that's not a bias. It's not my hate of the Yankees. Just as I see them, I don't think they're a good team.
I think there's a lot of Yankee fans that wouldn't disagree with what you just said. I mean, Volpe does scare me, because he terrifies me when I'm watching the Yankees play defense, especially if I have a bet on the Yankees, because it's one freaking Volpe soccer kick away from being a disaster for them. I think Stanton's played well since he's been back, and that's obviously a huge key for him. But last night, Dominguez goes 0 for 4, Wells goes 0 for 4, Volpe 0 for 3. Rice came in, pinch hit for him. He struck out with the bat sitting on his freaking shoulders. Judge was 0 for 3 last night. That's going to happen at times. But yeah, this Toronto team, when they play the Yankees, man, they just go up to a whole different level. And I'm really, really excited to see what they do. Well, obviously, we know the Yankees are going to go out and do something. And I think Gino Suarez solves a lot of their issues. And if you're the Diamondbacks, and we'll get to them here in a minute, but if you're the Diamondbacks, and I said it on yesterday's video that went up on our social channels, like, all 4 of those guys, Naylor, Suarez, Kelly, and Gallen, can walk out the door and you're going to get jack shit for them. And this is not, the Diamondbacks are not a playoff team. If you're the Yankees right now, I think they're absolutely in the right to be aggressive, go after Merrill Kelly and Gino Suarez. That fits 2 gaping holes on the Yankees. More on them, obviously, a little bit later. More on them tomorrow. The Angels in New York to take on the Mets. Weird game there. Mets come from behind to win 7-5. Freddie Fermin takes the loss. Rayleigh with a win for the Mets, and Edwin Diaz save number 20. Again, back to this whole All-Star break thing, Mac. Up until late last night, Lindor, Soto, and Alonso have been ice cold. I mean, Soto had a big hit for them late, key hit, but those 3 last night went a combined 1 for 12. And the Mets have been, I think, probably the most topsy-turvy roller coaster team, if you will, in the National League this year. Sean Manaea is back for them, and that is going to go a long way for a team that desperately needed a quality, consistent arm back for them. They are in the 2nd spot in the wild card. They're basically even with the Phillies, give or take there. But this Mets team, it's really hard to get a gauge on them, because some nights they look great and other nights, and if you watched any of that game last night, anybody out there that watched it, feel free to tell me I'm wrong here, but this was 2 different games within one last night. The Angels were up on them. They were up early, and then the Mets just kind of woke up, later in the game to come from behind and win. But man, they are so hard to get a gauge on.
Yeah, they're kind of like the hamster running in the wheel. That's kind of like what the Mets are. They're running. They don't seem like they're getting anywhere, and then all of a sudden, boom. Again, it's going to be interesting to see the Mets and the Phillies, what comes out of the next week. Which one of those teams does something that's going to make it a little bit better for them? I still think the Mets need some pitching as well. Their offense, is okay. It just, I mean, that's a typical. I've watched the Mets a lot. That's a typical Mets game. It's exactly how they are. They kind of hang around, and all of a sudden, they have a big inning late, and they take the lead. That's exactly how the Mets are. But I mean, again, I don't know how much confidence I have in the Mets either. The Angels, on the other hand, I like this Angels team. I think I'm going to put them into my Cincinnati Reds category. I think they could be a year away from being a really good team. I don't think this is their year. But this Angels team, I think, is going to be is going to cause some problems for Seattle and Houston, I think, down the stretch.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, much like what I was saying with the Nationals at the beginning of the season, this Angels team is going to be the pain in the ass to some teams as we get kind of late in the year here. San Francisco, man, where do I start with this team? 9-5, they dropped one to Atlanta last night. Drake Baldwin, 6 RBIs. Giants lost their 6th straight game last night and looked like an absolute clown car circus doing it, especially on one of Baldwin's hits late in the game there. Jung Ho Lee, like, I don't know what the hell was going on out there. This team, you just talked about the Yankees. This Giants team defensively might be one of the dumbest baseball teams in the league this year. I mean, just I don't understand what's going on. It's maddening. Get hot, stay hot. Willy Adames, 4 for 5, 2 runs, a homer, and 2 RBIs last night. And this is the gaping thing that stands out to me, other than the fact that they are atrocious on defense. Devers, 2 for 4 with a run. Adames, 4 for 5, 2 runs, homer, 2 RBIs. Matt Chapman, 2 for 4, 2 runs, or 2 RBIs. You look at the rest of the team last night, Jung Ho Lee, 1 for 5. Elliot Ramos, 0 for 3. Mike Yastrzemski, 0 for 5. Casey Schmidt, 1 for 4. Patrick Bailey, who couldn't hit his way out of a wet paper bag, 0 for 3. Another great young Giants pitcher, Hayden Burnside, doesn't even get out of the first damn inning last night. This team plays with no fire, nothing whatsoever. And TJ mentioned this a few weeks back, and you'll remember, Mac, when Bob Melvin was given his contract extension. And Buster Posey came out and he said, hey, I'm the guy that built this roster. This is on me. And I love Buster doing what Buster did as a player, now as an executive. But Buster didn't build this roster. Buster added Rafael Devers, and he added Willy Adames to this roster. I think Giants fans really need to keep this in perspective. Maybe you were blind to the fact that Farhan Zaidi left this team an absolute dumpster fire, and it's going to take more than 1 year for Buster to fix them. But for the love of effing whatever, they are annoying as hell to watch, and they're playing with no fire. And I do have to point some of that back to Bob Melvin. For Christ's sakes, Melvin, go get tossed from a game. Show some fire. Show you're irritated. Get your team going. Like the other day in Toronto, they tossed Justin Verlander from the dugout. The home plate umpire actually yelled, hey, Justin, why don't you worry about getting out of the 3rd inning? And Bob Melvin walked out, and I'm not kidding you. He walks out like this, Mac. He's like, now hold on just a second here. Show some damn fire, man. Like I can't watch them play anymore. And here's a perfect comment. If I hit I'm all fired up now. My blood pressure's to the roof. This is Giants baseball. Position themselves perfectly for adding or subtracting because we don't know what the hell they are. I can't watch them play. It is so damn aggravating. As somebody that loves baseball, they are not the team you want to watch. I'm better now, I think.
Yeah. My son had a few choice words for the starting pitching yesterday. I won't mention what those were, but he was
hated bird shit.
Yeah, well, yeah, that was about right. I think the problem. The thing with the Giants is that they had some success early on, whether that was schedule related or not. They got themselves into, we were close in the West, we were close in the wild card, and it makes the fan base think that there's a chance. And you're right. Unfortunately, they're not. Again, could they be a wild card contender? Yeah, they could. Are they going to win a World Series this year? No,
Hell
it's
no.
not going to happen. No, and that roster is not built for that. You're right. You have, I mean, Chapman and Adames and Devers are going to put up good numbers for you, but there's no depth in that lineup, and you need depth in a lineup to be successful. Pitching is good. Pitching has been all right, but again, Giants fans, let's be honest. I said it before. Even if you make a couple of moves at the deadline, you're not a World Series contender this year. It's just not. And so again, those are the questions these teams are asking, like the Diamondbacks. Do you keep these guys and get nothing for them? You know, I mean, what chips do the Giants have? That's the thing. I mean, what players can they trade to get something back? I don't see what they,
It's
well,
an
I mean,
interesting one.
yeah, but I mean, then
You
you're,
were just saying.
yeah, I mean, that's the thing. You got to give up one of your better chips, and then that hurts your pitching staff. But what would you get back from a Robbie Ray trade that would help you this year? I don't think you'd get anything.
I don't care if you roll out
I
Tim
mean,
Lincecum, Logan Webb, Madison Bumgarner in his prime, Kurt Schilling in his prime, and Randy Johnson in his prime right now. What hurts the Giants is they can't play friggin' defense. I mean, they are miserable to watch defensively. Like, it's ridiculous.
well,
I'm going to have a coronary if
well,
we stay on them.
You're preaching to a guy who's watched the Red Sox all year. I mean,
Exactly,
they're
yeah.
1-2 behind because you watched them for a little bit, and you're like, how do you watch this team? I'm like, I don't, with blindfold on.
Defense is overrated. Let's skip ahead for time reasons here. Chicago beats Tampa 8-3 last night. The Royals pound the Cubs at Wrigley. Another team, and I mentioned this in the video yesterday, Mac, all these top teams, these contending teams have really, really kind of sucked as they've come out of the All-Star break. Texas has not sucked. They are getting hot. I mean, yes, say what you want about the A's, but another 7-run performance from the Rangers last night. The Cardinals beat the Rockies 6-2. I know you've got some thoughts on the Rangers.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly think I kind of highlighted it before. I think the Rangers are going to make the playoffs. I think they're starting to figure it out offensively. I really like their pitching staff. We talked a lot about them, and just they didn't get off to the good start. But listen, this is a scary team. Remember, this is a team just a few years removed from winning a World Series championship, and I think their roster is better than it probably was then. To me, you want to talk about a run like the Tigers or the Royals had last year. I can see this Rangers team making a run like this in the second half.
Yeah, and Bruce Bochy, he's into every other year things, and he knows how to manage a team that struggles to score runs with a good pitching staff. So I think you definitely have to look at the Rangers as extremely dangerous. Out here in Arizona, the Astros come to town and they beat the Diamondbacks 6-3 last night. Gino Suarez hits another home run. I said it on our X account. He's trying to homer his way out of Arizona. He's on fire. But Bryce Matthews, it's his first 2 big league homers for the Stros last night. Zach Gallen continues to struggle. Christian Walker, welcome back to Arizona. He adds an RBI double in his first game back at Chase Field. And the Astros, the little bit of a struggle going in and coming out of the break, but they get a big win last night. They are also nipping at the heels of the Tigers. We thought it was a foregone conclusion. The Tigers #1 seed, this, that, and everything. And you've got Houston 2 games behind them. You've got Toronto, as we mentioned earlier, 1 game behind them. Really cool to see Bryce Matthews not only get his first big league homer, but then just drop his second one in the same game last night. So Bryce Matthews is a hell of a lot of fun to watch. And I know Astros fans know that, just like RJ just said right there. I mean, he is a hell of a lot of fun to watch.
Yep.
Big win for the Stros.
Yeah. Yeah. And they needed, like you said, they've been struggling a little bit, 3-7 in their last 10 coming out of the break. This is just for a little D-backs. This is part of the problem with the D-backs too. Merrill Kelly, Zach Gallen. Yeah, I know you're talking about trading him, Mike, but here's one of the problems. Zach Gallen hasn't pitched well. He really hasn't. He hasn't pitched well this year. He hadn't really pitched well last year. It's been since the World Series, and he even pitched really well when they were in the World Series. He hasn't really been the Zach Gallen that we think of. So I think that's that would be from my standpoint. I know the Red Sox have been linked to starting pitching, and especially some of the D-backs ones. I don't know that I'd want Zach Gallen right now. He's not pitching really well. He's not helping himself. Suarez is helping himself, but Zach Gallen's not helping himself.
Yeah, I think I think it's twofold. And if you're a Diamondback fan out there watching, I know I'm not your biggest. You're not my biggest fan right now. I'm just trying to give you a dose of reality. The Diamondbacks and the Giants are the same damn team. If you put the Giants bullpen on the Diamondbacks, how damn good would the Diamondbacks be? If you put the Diamondbacks offense with the Giants, most of the Giants pitching, how good would the Giants be? They're the same damn team. And if you think that they're a threat because you've won a couple games and you're close, if you think they're a threat, you're not living in reality. This team needs to rebuild a pitching staff. And out of Kelly or Gallen, I think it's more likely that Kelly gets moved because of what you just said. I think there's a lot of teams that will kind of, here, RJ's on fire again today. I think there's a lot of teams that are going to think that same kind of pathway. Hey, change of scenery. We know, we've seen it. Change of scenery sometimes can be a great thing. I think Diamondbacks fans have to come to this realization. There's a chance that you lose both Gallen and Kelly. Corbin Burns is the ace of this staff. Now, he won't be the ace of the staff until after the All-Star break next year, but they paid big money to get him and to get him in this position. Brandon Pfaadt, up and coming, a lot of promise there. I love Brandon Pfaadt. I think they need to take a look and rebuild. Now, if you're a Diamondbacks fan, my question to you is, you can have Kelly or you can have Gallen. There is no way you're going to be able to keep both of them, so you might as well get what you can, and Geno Suarez is going to bring you a haul. The Cubs could use him. The Mariners could use him. The Reds could use him. The Yankees could use him. You have your pick of the litter right now where he wants to go. How ironic would it be if Seattle has to give up farm players to get Geno Suarez back? That's a different story for a different day. I think Diamondback fans need to come to the realization that, A, this is not a good baseball team. They don't have the pitching to go anywhere. And B, you need to look forward to next year and start to get some stuff in. I say it all the time with the Giants' young pitchers. Oh, the Hayden Birdsong. The last great young Giants pitcher now pitches for Pawtucket in the Cape Cod League for the Red Sox or wherever the hell they sent him. In Kyle Harrison. Hayden Bird last night. He's been miserable. My dad sent me a text. Who's this Hayden Birdsong guy? And I go, well, he's the next great young Giants pitcher. And he goes, not too impressive. And I think my dad thought he was pitching his first game. I go, no, he's pitched in 20 games. I was not impressed after his second one. So it's just a reality dose, Diamondbacks fans. That's what it is for you. You got pieces that are valuable. Jordan Lawler, the great next shortstop. If he was so damn good, you'd be fine trading Geno Suarez because you could move Lawler to third base. We've tried all that. Sometimes you have to hit reset. It's just how it goes. Speaking of a team that I know you are super high on, you sent this text in the group message on Saturday. I was not watching the game. I was already asleep getting ready for final round of the Open Championship. But the Milwaukee Brewers, a.k.a. the owners of the Los Angeles Dodgers, they win again last night up in Seattle. Brandon Woodruff, 2-0, 1.65 ERA now. They shut out the Mariners and they beat George Kirby in doing so. This Brewers team, and somebody commented on our TikTok page when I was mentioning the Brewers and the Reds yesterday, and they said they're doing it for Uke. And I never even thought of that. Obviously, all of baseball misses Bob Uecker, but whatever the rallying cry is for the Brewers, if that's a big part of it, and I'm sure it is, this team is on freaking fire right now.
Yeah, this team reminds me a lot of the Blue Jays, how they do it. They have a little bit of pop in the lineup. I've told you my love of their manager, Murphy. The way he plays, they're able, they bunt people over, they steal, they play good defense. They've got, really good pitching. And, tonight they've won 10 in a row, and we all know who's pitching tonight. To make it 11 in a row, and so, you start looking at this starting rotation. You got one, you got a two, maybe you got a good solid third one, and now with Woodruff, you've got enough there. Are they gonna? make some moves at the deadline. This is not a team that usually makes a lot of moves at the deadline. You have to remember they're one game behind Detroit, like for the best record, or I think they're actually tied. In fact, percentage points they're actually ahead. They're because they're 60-40. Detroit's 60-41, so they actually have the best record in baseball right now. This is a fun team to watch. Yeah, they own the Dodgers. You want to know why? Because this team plays baseball, Mike. This team plays baseball. They bunt, they steal, they hit and run, enough pop, good starting pitching. They got an absolute horse at the end. And I'm like, dude, I said he's an absolute horse. I would not want to. When he's starting his motion like this, you see his back, and I don't know, he's like 6'9", 6'10", and he's throwing 100 plus. I mean, I like this Milwaukee team. I told you last week I picked them now to get to the World Series. I like them that much. They're legit at this point. They're legit. It's not a joke. They're legit. Cubs. I know you've been on the Cubs all year. This is how fun of a battle is that? I mean, we talk Yankees, Blue Jays, and whatnot, but how about Cubs and Brewers?
In the Craig Counsell factor, I mean, in their kind of natural geographic rivals. I mean, 11 in a row for the Crew. They're 20 games over 500. And you just mentioned this last night. You go through the scoring summary. Sacrifice fly, single, double, single, infield single, and a throwing error, single to center. That's how they scored all their runs last night. Woodruff only gave up 2 hits in that game. They'll get back at it tonight, and as Mac alluded to, The Miz is on the mound for the Crew tonight, and he will go up against Logan Gilbert of the Mariners. The Mariners are an interesting team. I know you're not super high on them. I think they're going to give the Astros a pretty decent run here because their farm system is loaded, and they have the weapons, if you will, to go out and get a difference maker for them, a Geno Suarez type of guy. I think there's a little bit of a pocket here for the Mariners because of their pitching that they could give the Astros a run for their money. I'm not saying it's a guarantee. I think when I look at the Mariners, I can see the potential for explosion. Randy Arozarena is red hot right now. I know nobody did anything for them last night, but it is what it is. My bold prediction, Mac, when we did our second half show last week on Thursday was that the Dodgers would be tied for first with somebody in the National League West. I couldn't tell you who by August 15th. Well, the way the Dodgers have started the second half of the season, that part of my prediction is dead on. The problem is the what are we doing Padres and the clown defense of the Giants. I don't know if they can get to them. So the Dodgers are getting away with playing really bad baseball and not being able to hit. Last night, they get a big win, 5-2 over the Twins. Shohei Ohtani, go ahead, 2-run homer in the bottom of the first. And that was kind of all they needed. The Twins did get that second run, but they didn't get it till the ninth. My God, that home run that Byron Buxton hit off of Shohei in the first inning, an absolute bomb. 3/4 of the way up the bleachers. But, the Dodgers did it how we typically see the Dodgers do it. Ohtani homer, Smith homer, Pages homer, and then Clemens got a sac fly to get the Twins their second run. But Dusty May gets the win. Festa takes a loss. And another interesting thing with the Dodgers is the revolving door in the ninth inning. Kirby Yates comes in and gets the save last night, 2/3 of an inning, his third save of the season. This Dodgers team is not playing good baseball right now, man. They are in one kind of offensive funk that we haven't seen. Teoscar Hernandez is really not having a good year. 0 for 4 last night. At some point, we know the law averages. Mac tells us this Dodger offense is not going to play like crap for very long. They have made a little bit of an adjustment in the lineup, moving Betts to the top spot, dropping Ohtani into the second spot there. And obviously last night, Betts gets on, Ohtani hits the homer, gets him in. But this Dodgers team's in a little bit of a funk right now.
Yeah, I think where Hernandez, I think I was listening, is like it's been over a month or so since he's had his last home run. So he hasn't even been close. Yeah, and I mean the Dodgers, it's one of those things we talk about. It's kind of like we just feel as though they're going to win the division, and when time comes for the playoffs, they're just going to kind of turn it on. But um, I don't know. I'd like to see somebody push them. We saw that a little bit last year. Can the Padres do it? I think that's the only one that could. But I'm not sold on the Dodgers. But then again, it's one of those things like they'll probably get all their guys off the IL right around September, early October, and the lineup and the pitching staff that we see then will be completely different than we have right now.
Yeah, they've lost 10 of their last 13. The all-name pitching matchup tonight, the longest names you could possibly have on the back of a jersey. Simeon Woods Richardson against Yoshinobu Yamamoto from Chavez Ravine tonight. Mizorowski and Gilbert, Valdez and Eduardo Rodriguez out here in Arizona. Jacob deGrom on the bump for the Rangers tonight. Old man Rich Hill on the bump for the Royals against Matt Boyd of the Cubs, who has been, I don't think Matt Boyd's being talked about enough. He's been fantastic. Yeah. Scherzer and Schlitter. It's a mouthful in Toronto, Yanks and the Blue Jays. My guy Dick Fitz on the mound tonight for your Bo Sox against Christopher Sanchez. That's about the scope of the good pitching matchups tonight.
And here's the thing. I know we talked about Toronto. I mean, Scherzer hasn't even got going. Can you imagine if he starts to kind of put it into gear a little bit, give them another arm? I mean, they've opened that thing up to 4 games already. It's scary.
Telling you, Toronto and the Cubs, man, that's your World Series right there. All right, we busted Mac's chops about killing dollar dingers last week enough. We are California leaguing our dollar dingers records, so we were miserable in the first half. Only had 4 of them. Last Friday, we got 2 of them, so we're 2-1 in the second half. Mac, do we want to start with dollar dingers or liquid locks today?
Let's go dingers first.
All right, I'll get us started. Speaking of the game up in Toronto and Max Scherzer on the bump, a guy who has had some decent success against him. I'm going to go with Giancarlo Stanton of the New York Yankees tonight. I got Stanton the homer off of Scherzer. TJ will be back with us tomorrow, as I mentioned. He is going with Christian Walker back in Arizona. So C-Walk for TJ, Stanton for me. Mac, I won't say who kills it. Who gets it done for us tonight? It's the third leg.
I'm so gun shy. I have to pick from now on people who I know can actually hit home runs. So I'm going with your man, Bryce Harper, against my team, the Boston Red Sox.
Never a bad thing when you pick Bryce Harper. So there you have it. Stanton, Walker, Harper. My phone's too far away. Otherwise, I'd tell you what the odds are on that trio. Liquid locks. We had no liquid locks last week because there was nothing going on last week other than Shane Gillis at the ESPYs. All right, so I'll get us going here with TJ's pick first. TJ's going in the game that you just mentioned, and this will correlate with what you just mentioned. Boston and Philadelphia. He's taken over 8.5 tonight. Again, Dick Fitz and Christopher Sanchez is your pitching matchup. I'm going aggressive tonight. I am being very aggressive tonight. I've got 3 teams. Bet them straight, bet them together. That's up to you. I am going with the Yankees on the money line, the Braves on the money line, and the Twins on the money line tonight. Those are my 3 tonight. I feel aggressive. I feel it in my soul. Adrenaline. Something Cody Rhodes. So there's my 3. Normally we don't do more than 2, but I like the positions. I think the Yankees at some point have to step up and answer the bell against Toronto. The Braves are playing the Giants. Don't need to go into that any further. And I do think there is something fundamentally wrong with this offense for the Dodgers right now. And Simeon Woods Richardson has pitched really, really well for the Twins, especially over about the last month or so. So that's where I'm going. The man that we created liquid locks for, his flowing locks they're John Cena. You can't see them.
You can't see them. That's right. I'm so excited. I missed last week. I missed the liquid locks because my favorite bet. I got Jacob deGrom tonight. No.
Damn you.
Yeah. Over 17.5 outs.
So DeGrom
I
over
love.
17.5 outs. That's a solid pick. I mean,
think
DeGrom has been fantastic for the
it's
Rangers.
been fantastic. Yeah, that's my 2025 favorite bet now. The pitcher with the over the number of outs. I've fallen in love with it. I've been pretty good too.
You have been pretty good with it. So damn aggravating to watch. It's a fun bet, but it's stressful because you're going 17.5. So like 5 is 15. And then how far does he like? It's too much math for me.
But you got well, and the thing is, when you watch the game, you start looking at the pitch count too, and then you have that 125 pitch or 30 pitch inning. You're going, oh crap! Now he might not get it because that. And then he goes out the next inning and he throws a 7 pitch inning. You're like, okay, we're back in it now. So it's one of those picks where you got to kind of watch it every inning because it can it doesn't even, it's not about runs, it can be just about pitches. He can have like you said, a 25-30 pitch inning, and that could mess you up.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm feeling froggy tonight. I don't know if we're going to hit all the liquid locks or if we're going to hit all the dollar dingers, but I will make a bold prediction that when we get on the air tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel, TJ will be with us. I got a feeling we're going to be talking about sweeping the board on one of these. It's the quest. Those of you that have followed us long enough, our quest to get all 3 dingers in one night. We have not hit it once since we started. We've done 2 several times as Mac just disappears on me. So for everybody behind the scenes, for everybody that's following along, we appreciate you. Again, tomorrow, massive announcement that we have for you. We're very excited to tell you guys about this. We'll have a little bit of fun tomorrow. Thursday, it'll be me and TJ. Tomorrow, Mike versus Mac on our channels. Again, tag your friends, tell your friends, follow the Mike Arana Show. Why aren't you already? What is wrong with you? RJ, you got Roz, Mama Mac, everybody else that was commenting along today. We appreciate you guys. We'll talk to you tomorrow. I'm out. I don't know where Mac